The private session was written in pen. I run a letterpress shop where truth is measured in pressure. Ink never lies. If you push too hard, the paper remembers. If you don't push enough, the words look like they were afraid to arrive. I like that about type. It doesn't do ambiguity on purpose. My wife, Lena, manages a yoga studio 2 blocks from the shop. We met because she needed menus printed for a fundraiser, and I made the serif look like kindness. The studio smells like eucalyptus and new beginnings. The shop smells like solvent and old promises. Our marriage lives somewhere in the alley between them. On a Tuesday that kept threatening rain, I carried a stack of fresh flyers to the studio, Moonlight Restorative, printed in silver that caught light even when the room refused to. Lena wasn't at the desk. A new receptionist named Kayla was scheduling private sessions on a paper ledger because the booking app had hiccuped again. "Len will be right back," Kayla said, chewing her pen cap like it was the last interesting thing. She flipped a page and wrote something quick. "Private 7:30 p.a.a." I asked, because printers are precise and vague letters make me itchy. "Client's initials," she said. "People like privacy." The pen left a small blot over the a dot like a secret that forgot to learn stealth. Lena came in from the studio with that 40-watt warmth she saves for rooms that need forgiveness. She hugged me, silver transfer catching in her hair like stars that didn't overthink it. "You're early," she said. "The flyers are perfect." "I'm always early," I said. It wasn't a boast. Letterpress trains you to court time before it notices. That night, I set the studio ledger under a stack of test prints to flatten the curl while the ink cured. I wasn't snooping. I was doing a printer's trick. I still saw the line when I lifted the stack. Private 7:30 p.a. and the next night's page, tipped up by the curl of paper, held another. Private 7:30 p.a. 2 nights. Same hour, same letter. I told myself it meant nothing and failed to believe myself completely. Lena got home late both nights, skin warm, hair smelling like clean rooms and effort. We ate standing in the kitchen. She told me the parts of her day that didn't need translation. A student cried in pigeon pose. Someone brought oranges. The speakers finally stopped cutting out during Savasana. I told her the press had decided to groan, and I'd bribed it with oil and praise. We're good at the daily. The daily saves people who consider drama a muscle they're trying to train less. On the third night, I rode past the studio on my delivery bike at exactly 8:12. The front lights were dim, the way they always are during private sessions. The sign on the door said "In progress." It's a gentle way to tell the city to keep walking. Through the glass, I saw 2 silhouettes in the far room. One was Lena. Her outline is a habit my eyes can't break. The other was taller, a man by the shoulders. He was in a supportive stance behind her, one hand hovering near her ribs as she twisted, the other hovering near her hip, not touching, not officious, simply there the way a hand can be a verb without action. I kept writing because I hate men who turn into windows. On the corner, I heard someone laugh. Not Lena. A male laugh with a question mark at the end. At home, I made tea and pretended it was a quiet you get to choose. Lena came in at 9:10, tossed her tote on the chair and leaned her forehead against my cheek like she owed it a debt. "You're up," she said, almost surprised. "Working," I said. Words don't flatten themselves. I handed her a mug. "How was your session?" "Good," she said. "He's new to private work, lots of gym habits to unlearn." I said too even. She caught it and didn't flinch. "Ari, he comes for mindfulness, says group classes feel like a stage. Private is safer. He's respectful." She grimaced, because respectful is the word we choose when we want to predefend other words. "Sorry I'm late," she added. "We got talking after." I nodded and let the silence be useful. When she went a shower, I pressed my thumb into the mug's heat until it told me something besides worry. The next day, a security company called the shop to confirm emergency contacts for deliveries. The studio had put me down as a backup because the press truck sometimes shows at dawn. We also text on door code changes, the woman said in a sympathetic voice designed for people who don't like codes. Do you still want those? I never wanted them, I said, but yes. That night at 2:17 a.m., my phone lit the ceiling. Studio door code changed to 426, a small administrative sentence like a librarian shushing insomnia. In the morning, I asked Lena if something had happened at the studio. We swapped codes, she said around toast. Kayla's ex has a talent for misplacing numbers. She kept her voice ordinary, which I know from letter forms is the hardest voice to keep. I printed until the day stopped being theoretical. I set type for a wedding whose couple wanted their names to feel inevitable. I stamped coasters for a bar that believed sincerity comes in 4-inch circles. I registered a 2-color poster for a bookstore reading, aligning magenta to cyan until the overlap made purple that felt earned. I tried not to think about door codes that change themselves at night. At 6, I dropped by the studio to bring a proof for Lena to approve. The studio was between classes, the air thick with undone things. A man stood by the cubbies, tall, that useful kind of handsome that never needed to be announced. He was reading a flyer like it owed him context. He wore quiet clothes that knew how to find a body's lines without complaint. "This is nice," he said to me without looking up because people talk to anyone holding paper. "Thanks," I said. He looked up and his face did that polite pause where people put together what belongs with what. "I'm Daniel," I added. "Ari," he said and extended a hand. Warm, dry, not trying to earn anything extra. "I'm in Lena's private slot." He winced at his own phrasing. "I mean, session." "Right," I said. "Session is the better noun." He smiled like he was a good sport about nouns. Lena came out with a mat rolled under her arm and the kind of face that betrays surprise when it's happy. "Oh, perfect," she said to Ari. "Daniel, this is Ari." To me, "You two met already, great." To both of us, "I need 5 minutes to reset the room." Ari nodded and stepped back in a way that made room actually larger. He looked at the proof in my hands. "Letterpress?" he asked. "Always," I said. "My mother keeps a box of wedding invitations like a museum," he said. "She calls them a family tree you can touch. Yours look like the kind she'd keep." I didn't want to like him. Liking him felt like choosing to put the heavier boxes on the bottom because you believe in gravity more than your own bad mood. He made it difficult not to. When Lena returned, he bowed a little, a joke that didn't want applause, and they went into the far room. Door cracked because the hinge sticks when it's hot. I handed Lena the proof as she passed. Our fingers touched, orientation restored. That night I asked her to tell me the story I wasn't going to invent without her. We sat on the floor like people in their 20s who can stand up without committees. She told me Ari's company had burned around him. He was trying not to replace smoke with adrenaline. He listened well, she listened back. "I like being good at this," she said, small and honest. "I like when people find their breath while I'm in the room." "I like that too," I said. "I also like knowing our room is ours." She nodded. "Tell me what you need printed," she said, and I laughed because weaving metaphors is how we forgive each other for being literal. "That our boundaries are written in pen," I said. "Not pencil, not chalk. We wrote them on a yellow pad we keep near the phone for prank calls and grocery lists. 1. No private sessions after 9. 2. Door cracked unless another staffer is present. 3. If talks continue past session time. They continue in the lobby, not in the room, not on a mat, not in a whisper.